So he was a professor at Chicago for a while, and then at MIT for a while, and then he got a job at Goldman Sachs, and famously said that the world looks a little different from the banks of the Hudson than from the banks of the Charles. And he was president of the American Finance Association. And on Monday, December 30th, 1985, the American Finance Association had its annual meetings here in New York. And they set up a special meeting to have people come and hear the president of the American Finance Association, who was Fischer Black. And here's what he said in that famous speech called Noise. He said, "We might define an efficient market as one in which price is within a factor of 2 of value, i.e. the price is more than half of value and less than twice value. By this definition, I think almost all markets are efficient almost all of the time. Almost all means at least 90%. Okay. Here's another bombshell. Okay. The notion that efficient markets means the price is within a factor of 2 of value, okay, means that markets aren't efficient at all, really. Okay, that the price you're seeing is not very closely related to fundamentals, or it might not be. You can't be sure that it is. Okay, modern finance was based on the notion. And he in fact was a strong believer in efficient markets originally, a Chicago-trained person. I shouldn't say Chicago-trained. He never took an economics or a finance course in his life. Okay, so he fit the Chicago. They hired him. Okay, he had this view independently. The idea is that these prices are in some sense correct. Okay, these prices that are established here are in some sense correct. They're evaluating the risk correctly. And now here he has this idea that prices are only within a factor of 2. Where does this idea come from? Okay. I think, and I've argued in my biography of Fischer, that it came from his friend Jack Traynor and Jack Traynor's model, the dealer model, okay, which talks about, right, how prices get moved around depending on dealer inventories. Where do prices come from? They come from dealers who are quoting bid-ask spreads. Okay? And when the dealer inventories get pushed too far on one side, the prices can deviate pretty far, okay, depending on the outside spread. Okay? I'm just reminding you of things you know here from this class. That's what he's talking about, factor of 2. Okay? That's the outside spread he's talking about there. Okay? That prices can move within that range, okay, without you necessarily knowing it, unless you look at and you know the inventories of the dealers, you know the stresses they're under or something like that. They're not necessarily, the prices you observe are not necessarily very tightly attached to the fundamentals, as it were. It's Traynor added to CAPM, okay, that is giving Fischer this new idea. Now there's a sort of irony here too, because Fischer didn't learn CAPM from the economists, he learned it from Traynor. Traynor actually had a version of CAPM that was completely correct, that he never published, and that Fischer saw before the Sharp version, before other versions. So Traynor was the sort of the idea, had some ideas behind the scenes that were very influential for Fischer, both CAPM and this dealer model idea. I emphasize, of course, in this course, the dealer model a lot. Okay, as I said, what I'm trying to do is make the money view talk to finance. Okay, and I think that the dealer model is a bridge. Okay, the beginning of a bridge. Fischer Black adopted the dealer model, okay, and explored it. He thought it was interesting. By the time he died, which was in 1995, I think he had moved pretty far away from efficient markets, as we can hear. That was already 1985. Okay, so he had 10 more years at Goldman Sachs. But I don't think he had moved all the way to the money view. But maybe if he had lived, okay, he would have, okay, by now. I certainly see myself as building on that, and I imagine myself talking to Fischer in the audience and saying, okay, you came part of the way, okay, now the next logical step is here. And what are these steps?